This is the Shareholders podcast. Mont here with you guys, and I'm very excited. I'm about to get with my guests real quick, but I just want to say I hope everybody had a blessed New Year's. We're kicking off the year with a show for you right now. Maybe you're home, relaxing, maybe you're going to watch some football, got some family, and maybe you're tired of the family, you got to get away, whatever. Hopefully you can check us out and listen to this, but it's going to be a blessed 2020. And my guest I have on today, I just want to say quickly how he's really been a blessing to me with my old show, because if you remember, if you follow me back from the old Mighty Sharp Show days, I would get a lot of new artists to come on the show and talk, and which I love to talk to musical artists. I'm a musician myself, and the person who got me a lot of those people is my guest today, and he was, I don't even know how we even hooked up, but I think he gave me a message or something like, hey, I got an artist, you want to talk to him, and I built some really good relationships with that, and now he has some great endeavors he's doing, and I said I got to get him on the show to talk about that. On the show today is Mr. Armar'rae Hill. Sir, how are you doing today?
I am doing great, Monty. How you doing, man?
Man, blessed. God is good. Hope you had a great entrance into 2020, if you will. You and your family, hope you're blessed and God's been doing good for you, man. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure just to conversate with you and just see what's going on with you. But thank you for inviting me on the show today.
Oh, most definitely, man. And like I say, a lot of these artists, if you heard my old show, it was because of him, and he was just really great to help give them some exposure and give me some content. And so what the Shareholders podcast is, if this is your first time listening, it's kind of in the name. We're just trying to share things for people who are trying to, like we say, maybe be on the come up, or if you're a young entrepreneur, a young business person that a lot of times get held within and are not shared. And sometimes you got to hit your head on against the wall, like, man, how did they do this? And how do I do this? And how do I learn to do this stuff? And it's like a lot of times that information's been held. And that was kind of how God placed this in me to even start this podcast. And I really want that to be shared. And today, man, I'll tell you what, this gentleman here, he is doing some amazing things. He truly is what we like to say, an entrepreneur. Now, I want to really kind of get right into a lot of things, man. But first of all, if you look at your bio and a lot of things that you're doing, you are a producer now, a media producer. I'll just give you a follow. I don't want to pick you too much, but a media producer, if you will. Mm-hmm. Now, what made you want to kind of go that route with your career?
So all of my life, I love media and the arts, whether it was music, whether it was visual arts, and television. One thing about me is that God has really given me many talents to where I used to just see if I could focus on one thing. So one day I said, God, I have so many talents that you've given me far as the arts, period, whether it's music, whether it's film, whether it's designing, marketing, branding, helping others build their businesses and things of that nature. So I asked God, I said, what do you want me to do? So he actually gave me some trials, going through this thing, when it comes to multimedia, to learn the business of it, alongside using my gifts to take it to another level. So what really got me into producing was just the love of arts, period. And I know that I have gifts to actually have a vision and see it come to pass. And I really think that God has really put me in a position to where I can have my hands in many things, but right now the main focus is in multimedia and visual media, and that's where the world is going today. And I really believe that that is the direction as God has really put me in this time, in this season.
Yeah. So now let me ask you a question that I'm sure a lot of us have had and just kind of maybe gotten used to seeing it and don't know really what it is, but can you break down what is a producer? Like, we see the credits roll and we'll see the director and we kind of maybe understand that, and okay, and we know there's actors in a show or whatever, and even with music, but what does a producer and or executive producer do per se?
Yeah, so the first thing that a producer does is tell the story or help tell the story. Of course, you have your writers who write the story, but the producer is the one who actually move forward with the execution of how things need to look or sound. So the first thing that you really want to do is make sure that you magnify what the storyline is. That way it can be very attractive to those who are viewing.
That's okay. I like that. That's good. So then are there levels to that, should I say then? So, kind of from what I know a little bit about it is, sometimes a producer can just, maybe just financially help the project, or they can maybe help get a location, or they can, sometimes you hear stories in Hollywood and things like that where, they're trying to get a certain actor or something like that, and the person gets the producer credit just for that. It can be kind of a wide-ranging thing, can it not?
Yeah, so when you think of producing, you have your associate producers, more admin, setting up events, connecting with the actress producer, and they really take care of the admin side of things. Then you have the executive producer. The executive producer may have the idea. They may financially back the idea, of a project, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they can really execute the vision of a project. The producer is the one who actually can bring things to pass. They'll take all the resources with your associate producers, your executive producers, and see what their vision is, but they are the executors.
Oh, okay. All right. That's good. That's good to know as well. So, now, man, let me ask you this. You are the CEO of Ash Entertainment.
Yes.
Now, what made you really want to step out and do your own company instead of, maybe just let me work under somebody. Let me see if I can, get with somebody at, a big studio or Tyler Perry or an Oprah or whatever like that. What made you really want to kind of start your own entertainment company?
So, of course, there's other entertainment companies out there, but I started learning the ways of the business. And sometimes when you have other people that's above you that has the much more power than you do, that can really suppress your ideas and how you are able to really maneuver in the industry. So what I did was I said, I have enough knowledge to actually incorporate my own business and use the resources that I've gained throughout the years to really focus on my own brand and my own company. So by doing that, I said, I'd rather be the person who's the boss, but also have power players around me to help guide me into the right direction and also the right team. We have a team of 6 people right now. We sit down and create content, and what we do is we take that content and send it to the networks and send it to the distributors, but ultimately whatever we create, we are the owners of that property. You know? So I'd rather be the owner of property and have a say in what a project does or where we would like to go, instead of just giving it to someone and they, take all the resources, whether it's financially or also the ideas, and flip it into something that maybe, I didn't like that to be flipped to, So I'd rather have control over the media that I put into the marketplace, instead of starting underneath someone. So my thing is, I always have entrepreneur spirit. I'm a leader, but also I'm more of I can be a servant leader as well,
Man,
but I'm sorry. Ultimately, that's the goal, is to start your own. That way, instead of making someone else wealthy, you're making your corporation and yourself wealthy as well.
Yeah, man, you just said so many good things. I want to try to remember. I want to hit you. First of all, you said that, it didn't just start out like that. You've been in the game long enough and learning under others first and kind of seeing, okay, kind of what not to do, what to do. And I want, people that listen that are maybe starting out in this to understand that too. Is there's no overnight successes, so it's been a long grind. But then once you got to the point where I feel I can do this myself and things like that. You said the word right there, ownership.
Right.
It's so huge. And anybody that's in the music industry or entertainment, anything like that, you understand that ownership is everything. And case in point, why I'm doing this show the way I'm doing it and not like for some other radio station or anything like that, which I explored once and I was like, why would I be paying y'all money to do things? And now
exactly.
Yeah, so that is so key when you said that, and I'm glad you hit on that. I want to ask you too. A lot of people that we come on, I always like to ask this question as well. Have you had any people to help mentor you on this journey, getting where you are right now?
Yes. So when I decided to get into visual media as far as television and films, I built a relationship with a gentleman. His name is Ben McGurgle. He works with Entertainment One Television, and just being underneath him and just really learning the industry, he taught me how to really maneuver and how to really take my ideas to another level, and really think past the surface and just look farther ahead when you're pitching and when you're creating content. And he also taught me to know my audience. How is this really going to be interesting or influential to viewers? Then also, Crystal Smith. Crystal Smith is known for Joy 105, but also she's an executive at Warner Brothers. And my partner Squeaky Moore. We've all collectively worked together. But my main thing is with them having a lot, many more years in the industry and have a lot more success than maybe we have had in the past. I thought it was really important for me to really build my relationships with them. And it was never like, hey, can you be my mentor? It's
right.
Like, it's more so when you're genuine and you have a creative mind, you attract other creatives. So in the process of me building those relationships with them, they were teaching me so much more. So now I'm able to take what I've learned, but also empower others when they want to get into the industry and have ideas that they want to get green lit. So I have mentors, but also I take the information that I learned from my mentors, but also help others get to the next level as well.
That's amazing too, man. I love to stress to people that you need help. Everybody has to learn from someone. And I always hear successful people say that, I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. I want to be able to walk in a room and be able to glean something from somebody else and learn something from somebody else. And that's really amazing as well. Where did this entrepreneurial spirit come from in you? Like when you were young, was it something that was just always a part of you? Did you see something and want to attain it and say, man, how do I get that? Like, have you always been this way, or was it something that you kind of developed along the way?
So I'll put it this way. When you look at television, I was really big in music, and I was not the one who really cared too much about the artist. I cared more so about who is the mogul behind it. When you think of Jodeci, who produced those songs, Devontae, and then you have Puff Daddy, who was behind it. So I always used to look at the credits. If there was a television show or a film, at the end of the film or the television show, I wanted to know who produced it, who were the producers. Then I would look up those producers. Same thing with music. I wanted to look at the credits inside of the tape decks or the CD package to see who was actually in charge. But, quickly I'll tell you a story. When I was growing up, I remember my mother's lights getting cut off, or our lights getting cut off at the age of maybe 5 or 6 years old. And my mother said, I can't get my lights cut on. We don't have any money. Armar'rae, get the candles out of the cupboard and I'll get the lighter, and we have to place candles around the house and things of that nature. The next day, I said, what can I do to help my mother? At the age of 5 to 6 years old, I took all of my favorite toys. I went outside, lined all of my toys up, and put maybe $1, $2, $3, $5 on different toys.
Wow.
And people started coming up and started buying my toys. So at the age of 5 or 6 years old, I started learning how to make money.
Yeah.
You know? So it started at a very young age because we didn't always have everything that we wanted. So I always said whatever I do growing up, I wanted to be successful. But my father, he had an entrepreneur spirit, on him as well. So he was a really good example for me to look at, when it comes to real estate, when it comes to using your talents to make room for you and to make income for you, so just the life that I had to live growing up, but also having that example of my dad, and he was not my biological father, but just looking at him, he really set a great example for me, and it really helped me throughout my life to never give up, but also make my talents work for me.
That's an amazing story, man. That is. Now, see, I want y'all to hear that. Now, how many of y'all, when y'all was young, was gonna sell some toys to help keep the light? That's big right there. So, I want to now get into. For those listening, Mr. Hill is really putting on something that's huge coming up, and it's called the Scene Screen Summit. It's going to be in South Bend, Indiana, and it's August the 29th. And first of all, shout out my Indiana people. I'm a son of the Midwest, Michigan. My mother's from Indiana, so appreciate you looking out for those people through there. But this thing is huge, people, and it is. I'm not going to even spend a whole lot of time with everybody that he has coming, but it is a huge lineup he has, and it is, there are panels and for film screenings and TV ideas and music and concerts, and he's got everybody. It's Kelly Price, Gary Owen, Flex Alexander, a lot of people, Adrian Balin Holton. I don't even want to. We'll give you the information for the links. But it's everybody. It's so many people. How did you get the idea for this, and how are you putting? I love to hear the behind the scenes stuff. How are you putting something this big together, man?
Yes,
this is unbelievable.
Yes. So this was an idea that I always lingered on because I was inspired by like Essence Festival or Revolt and other conferences that goes on. But a lot of times you will have to travel so far away. We're in Indiana. We're in the Midwest. So we would have to travel to L.A. and New York and places like that. And I was talking to an executive at BET, and I said, hey, I have this idea, but I have no clue of how I'm going to start it. And she said, what is it? I said, well, I would like to bring diversity into media and just really, celebrate the arts, and actually have people to come and get educated about every single industry, whether it's branding, whether it's fashion, whether it's music, television, film, and so on. And she said, you know what, I just went to a conference in LA and we had to spend so much money to be a part of that conference, and there was not much diversity. So what I said was, I have enough resources to bring some things together and bring something into my city, because at first I was like, maybe I should do this in Atlanta, or maybe I should do this in another city. But when I was talking to actors and actresses actually in Illinois, they said, we've never had anything in the Midwest.
Right.
So I said, let me do this. Let me bring some resources together. I started contacting agencies and things of that nature just to put a soft feel out there just to see if this will be something that people will be interested in. And I did a quick survey, and out of all the survey answers, everyone said yes, that they will recommend their artists, they'll recommend their models or whoever that they represent to come to something like this. Mm-hmm. So mainly what Scene Screen is, it is a series of summits that really focus on celebrity panels and also master classes. We have focusing on entrepreneurship, talking about arts, television, film, and music. and over 1,200 people from all over the country will gather for a day of concerts and networking and learning ways to build and expand their brand. And it doesn't matter what industry they're in. You'll hear from successful business professionals on how to build a multi-million-dollar empire, from actors and actresses on how to break into Hollywood, media executives on how to pitch and get your ideas green-lit. But also we have a segment that's focusing on Broadway and theater and also other facets. Then the hallways is just going to be filled with art as well. So the event is actually happening August 29th of 2020, to where we're actually bringing Hollywood to the Midwest. But it's just not for the Midwest region. It's for everyone who are in the arts and who wants to actually take their ideas to another level. But my main thing is this: I want people to leave inspired, but also with resources to gain mentors to help them get there. Yeah. So my main thing is not just to have an event and make it extravagant, but what can people really get from this? What can people learn from this? So we're also going to have a business class to also teach people how to financially take care of their money, but also if they don't have money, we're going to teach them how to get it.
And that's something you're kind of following up. I was going to ask you about, because I named some people that you guys might know when I just kind of went down a list, but I'm more impressed by the names you might not know, because he has a lot of executives from TV One, BET, VH1, Lifetime. When I started seeing those names, I said, wow. So this is not just a come hang out and be seen type of situation. He's really trying to get people, like you say, mentors, and if you have an idea, or what am I doing? The whole point of that, and I love it, is to really kind of help educate and elevate some people. And man, how stressful is this? It's like, man, I know it's a lot. It's got to be where you're just, and not that it's a bad stress, but sure, just this is kind of something you're heading up. It's got to be a lot to take on.
Yes. The thing about this is that, yes, it's a lot to take on, but I have strong people around me also. Yeah. So we created a board with city officials, media officials, actors, actresses, and producers. So I wanted to make sure that I had strong people around me on my board who can see the vision, but also assist to execute the vision. So yes, I'm the visionary. I have all the ideas, but my team around me are the ones who are really helping to get to the next level. And I truly believe that it was ordained for this to happen, because, we're not struggling to accomplish anything. Yeah. And the reason why I don't think that we're struggling to accomplish anything is because the first thing that we do in our meetings is pray, Yeah. So when you put God first, you say, God, lead the way. We're gonna walk right behind you. When you do that, there's nothing for you to fret about. There's nothing that you should worry about. So my scripture that I always say every single day is, now to him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we could ask or think, according to the power that works within us. What that means is that God has given us power, but we have to make sure that we put him first. That way, the vision is clear. I wear glasses, and I don't have them on right now. I'm looking at the wall, and I see some writings on my wall. I can't see it, but when I put on my glasses, now I have focus. So God is the one who gives us that focus and gives us the clear direction. So everything that I do, I'm always going to put him first. And the reason why I did this, because I was in a low place in my life to where I said, God, if you get me out of this, I promise you that you're going to get the glory in every single thing that I do. So if people say, Armar'rae, man, you doing it, I'll be like, it's all God. Why? Because if I say, yeah, man, we're doing it big, that's giving myself self-glorification. Yeah. And I don't think God will honor that. But if I honor him first, then he will establish everything, in the land for us.
Man, folks, I could talk this kind of conversation all day, but I'm not gonna hold my man up. He's been so gracious with his time. I'm gonna wind this up, but let me just ask you then, what is your vision of success? What is, how far are you really trying to take this to where, man, my goals and my dreams that I've had for this thing are totally in fruition? Like, what is your vision of success?
So the vision of success is how many people are we impacting? You know, is it one person? Is it 1,200 people? My thing is, my purpose in life is to assist others. You know, and if I don't see that happening, then it's all in vain. Yeah. So we want to see this happen every single year. But what we want to do is also create a network to where people can always come to this, or also we're going to build a website for people to get resources and direct connections to influencers and those who can actually help bring their stories and their careers to pass. You know, so the vision for this is much bigger than me. And someone asked me yesterday this same question. And they said, Armar'rae, do you really realize how huge this is? I said, yeah, I do, but I see it even bigger. And sometimes I can't share my vision with everyone because you'll always have those individuals who say, oh, that would never happen. Right. My thing is this: God is limited. So my thing is, if I think it, I believe it is going to happen. You know, because there's three things that's always going to last. That's faith, hope, and love. So one thing about it is that I love everyone around me and everything that I do, but I put hope and faith together as well and see everything just move forward in the right direction. So I see this thing really growing, and that's going to be annually, but also I want to figure out how we can actually create this same event or programs like this in other cities. You know, so making it more broad instead of just the Midwest region, but giving people resources in the West Coast, East Coast, and so on.
That is outstanding, man. And I hope you guys really hear where his heart is, you know what I mean, and how, you know, the Bible says if you in all your ways acknowledge him and he will direct your paths, you know, and he's not just saying he puts God first, he's living it as well. And so you can see, you know, the blessing of God upon his life. So it is awesome, man. I want to let you go, man. Please give your plugs, where everybody can find you, where they can find the summit and things like that. And just hit us up and let us know everything we can, you know, look for coming in the future with you.
Yeah, so you can find me at Armar'rae _Hill or Armar'rae Hill. That's ARMARRAE HILL on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook. But mainly I want people to log on to SeenScreenSummit.com. The way that it sounds, seen like television screen, SeenScreenSummit.com, and just really look at what we're doing, and hopefully we'll see you guys August 29th, 2020.
Awesome, man. I definitely want to be there for that. That's going to be great, man. Oh, real quick, any books, anything you read lately? I love to ask people that. If they've read anything good they could recommend, especially somebody maybe coming up. Man, I'd like to do what he's doing. Any kind of books you read lately?
Yes. My last book that I read is called Extreme Ownership. It really focused on people-centric leadership, you know, and how you could really see someone who may be struggling but never fail, you know, never put them in the fail bucket, you know. So people-centric leadership, understanding that people are human beings and not machines, you know. Everywhere that you go, you really have to make sure that you can maneuver in certain situations and talk to diverse people. And this book really touches on that and how to really communicate effectively and be influential in people's lives.
Oh, I love that. Thank you, man. This has been the Shareholders Podcast. Mont here, and my guest has been Mr. Armar'rae Hill, who is giving us a wealth of information just in this small amount of time. But please, people, check out Seen Screen Summit. Check him out, of course, he has an active social media account, so, you know, you can get some updates as well. But I really want you guys to support, you know, and especially my Midwest folks. There's no excuse for y'all now, you know what I mean? Because I remember when I lived in the Midwest, they used to say the same thing, man. Everybody's in L.A., everybody's in New York. He's keeping it right there for you. It's welcome for everybody, of course, but, you know, my Chicago people, Detroit, all those folks, Cincinnati, Cleveland, wherever you're at, please support this because he is bringing some heavy hitters to this summit and music festival, and it's going to be in the summertime. Now, it's going to be a great time, I'm sure, man. Mr. Murray, man, be blessed, sir. I'm praying for you. I appreciate you coming on, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Monty. Enjoy your day.
All right, and always, man, check us out, of course. We're on YouTube, Mighty Sharp Network. The website is just now official. I've just been waiting. We pumped out a lot of content, but now we have the website there as well. Of course, we're on Spotify, iTunes as well. You guys always remember, stay sharp,